we are going towards the end portion of chapter 7 on Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnana is knowledge, and that refers to the knowledge of the apara prakriti, that is the universe, the universal knowledge. And then Vijnanam, V is a qualifier, it means special. It's a special knowledge. Vijnana means special knowledge, and it refers to the knowledge of the what Bhagavan calls the para prakriti, which is the 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 Brahman or the consciousness. As usual, we would like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta as it was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. And we will say a small prayer. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Bhande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. So let's jump into where we started off last time. So Bhagavan is now classified. This is a very important topic. He is going to the topic of bhakti. Bhakti means devotion, and Bhagavan is classifying the various types of bhaktas. So Bhagavan first introduces the topic of bhakti. So let's see. Bhagavan first introduces the topic of bhakti to tell bhakti is the only way by which you can cross the maya, the delusion. Daivi kesha gunamayi mama maya dhuratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya me tham tarantite. This maya, the illusion of mind, is divine. Daivi esha gunamai. This maya of mind is divine, and it is from the gunas. Mama maya duratyaya. It is very difficult to cross. Mameva ye prapadyante. Those who completely surrendered, they take refuge in me, only they can cross this maya. So, and he introduced the prapatti is the key word here. Total surrender, sharanagati. It is bhakti, devotion. Then Bhagavan's, it's not explicitly stated, but even the bhakti can be of three types, and this is throughout the Bhagavad Gita. It is listed. One type of bhakti is manda bhakti, where you go to Bhagavan to ask for favors, and Bhagavan becomes a idol of worship, or a devata, Krishna, Vishnu, Rama, like that, Shiva. Then there is madhyama bhakti, which is, oh, Bhagavan is this entire universe. Bhagavan has descended as the universe. So we saw the example of Urnanabi. So so in a spider in the Vedanta, Bhagavan is likened to a spider. So because Bhagavan is both the material and the instrumental cause. So to make a desk, you need the material cause, which is the wood, but you also need the intelligence cause, which is a carpenter. So like that, the universe came from Bhagavan. And what is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is both the material and the instrumental cause. The instrumental cause of this is the consciousness, the intelligence in the universe. Then the material cause is what is called the Maya. Maya is you can think of it as some energy, and then during creation it comes as the universe. Maya itself has no intelligence or existence. It leans on the consciousness for the creation. And Madhyama Bhakta is one who thinks of the universe as creation. So the spider is both the material and the intelligence cause of the web. The web is the creation, right? And how does it come? So from the ceiling, you'll see the spider coming down. Spider is called Urnanabi, which is Una is silk thread, and Nabi is in the stomach. So the silk thread is in the stomach, and from the ceiling, it descends down. So like that, Bhagavan, he or she descends down using this thread, and uh, when the job is done, it just goes back, it recedes back, and it just takes the thread and eats it up, and goes back inside the body. So the creation, Bhagavan is likened to a spider. So Uttama Bhaktas, they go beyond that, and they know that the Bhagavan, it is the same consciousness which is shining through me. Because when I see in meditation, when you sit and observe the thoughts in the mind, that Sakshi Tattvam, the witness principle, that is the universal consciousness. So I am that same consciousness. Aham Brahmasmi. This is the Uttama Bhakta, highest type of Bhakta. And Bhagavan will say that is the Jnani Bhakta. And the four types of bhaktas Bhagavan classifies based on what they are seeking. So first is quality of practice, though it is not explicitly stated, but it's understood. Then Artho Jignasu Artharthi Jnani. Artha is the afflicted one who is suffering due to some problems. Then Artharthi, those who want material benefits, those who want a nice house, all that. And Jignasu, those who just want pure knowledge. And finally, there's the Jnani, the already accomplished person. Okay, so these are the various classifications. So bhakti is a very important topic, and Bhagavan says, of all these people, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yuktaha Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. Then Jnani, the wise person, excels. I am very dear to the Jnani, and the Jnani is very dear to me. Priyo hi Jnani notyartam aham sacha mama priyaha. And then Bhagavan, he goes one step further. He gives a consolation. Okay, if I'm saying the eldest son is better, then other kids will be offended, right? So he says, Udhara sarpaye paite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mame vanuttamam gatim. So Udhara, he says, Udhara means um, it's large, generous, exalted. So all these people are very exalted. He gives consolation to the other devotees. Krishna mentioned that the other devotees then may feel bad. So Krishna says, don't worry, I love all devotees. Ete sarva eva udaraha. All devotees are indeed great, whether it's Artho, Artharthi, Jignasu, or Jnani. But Jnani, there's one difference. Jnani to Atmaiva me matam. In my opinion, I deem the Jnani to be my very self. Jnani to Atmaeva. I deem the Jnani to be exactly identical with me. In case of other bhaktas, there is bhakta and God. They are different. I love all the devotees, but Jnani is my very self, because the Jnani knows that consciousness which is shining is same as the Brahman, me. That's what Bhagavan says. So astita means attain. So here Bhagavan says that the jnani will attain that highest goal, because the jnani knows that there is nothing more to attain, because that the jnani knows that which I am is that same consciousness. Okay, this is a very important shloka. It is called a Mahavakya shloka. Okay, Mahavakya shlokas are there throughout Bhagavad Gita. We saw that example. Mahavakya means it's a great statement. You can think of it as a great equation, right? When do you write an equation? You don't write an equation. Swamiji very beautifully explains this. You don't write an equation when two numbers are obviously wrong. You don't say 3 is equal to 2. You don't say 10 is equal to 5. They're obviously wrong. You also don't say 9 is equal to 9, because they're obviously same. You write an equation to convey two sides which look the same but not quite the same. 9 minus 1 is equal to 12 minus 4. Both sides are 8. But they don't look the same. But the answer is the same. That is what it is. The one, the case, there is Bhagavan. The other is mere us, the Jivatma. How can you say the two are equal? It looks, the one is like a puny, the other is the cosmos. How can you say both are equal? No, both are equal. It's like ocean wave. There's huge ocean, there's a tiny wave, right? But what are both? Both are water. So in that case, water, water. Water is equal to water. So even though they look different, they're both water. There's large volume of water, there's less volume of water. That's the only difference. But it's aikyam, it's the same thing. There's no difference between the two. So it's called a Mahavakyam. Jnani is equal to Bhagavan. Oneness between Jnani and Bhagavan. Okay? Then continuing, Bhagavan says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavam mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Bahunam janmanam ante. After many births, at the end of many births, jnanavan mam prapadyate. The wise person, jnanavan, me, prapadyate, the voice person attains me, prapadi, like with complete surrender. And what? Realizing that Vasudevaha sarvamiti, sarvamiti, all this creation is Vasudeva. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, such a great person is very rare. Now, there are a few things I have to clarify here. Vasudeva here doesn't mean son of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva is not referring to Krishna here. So in the um, Bhagavatam, Krishna is born to Devaki and Vasudeva. So Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. Vasudeva also means the Deva of all Vasus, all beings. It's another meaning, but it does not refer to Krishna here. It refers to the infinite Brahman. Vasudevo Sarvamiti. So the Jnani knows all this is Vasudeva. Vasudeva means here the Lord of all beings. What is that? That is the Brahman or the consciousness. The spider example, right? It is the intelligence cause behind the universe. It is that Brahman. And such a person is very rare. So here the term Mahatma is used. So Mahatma means great, you can say great soul or great person. So Atma has different contexts in different places. I've already said that Atma can mean the mind, Atma can mean an individual, Atma can mean the consciousness. Here Mahatma means great individual. And Krishna here admits that it takes many lifetimes to go through the various stages of bhakti to come to the highest stage, which is jnani bhakti. So the jnana bhakti, which is bhakti of knowledge. So this is a very important point, and I will let Swamiji clarify in his own words, because when people think of bhakti, devotion, they think, oh, one person came to Swamiji and told, oh Swamiji, this Vedanta, it's very dry topic. But bhakti is such a wet topic. I shed so many tears. Bhakti, just devotion comes. Whereas Vedanta is so dry. Then Swamiji told that person, don't you have enough crying in your life? Do you want to add more crying to this? And he said, this entire notion of bhakti means all this devotion, crying, and jnana means dry. It is wrong. Jnani bhakta, when there is jnanam, absolutely bhakti will be there. The two are go together. If one is studying Vedanta and there is no bhakti, Swamiji says, then you're not understood Vedanta. Automatically bhakti will come when you understand. So with this, we have completed the samsara karanam and samsara pariharaha. cause and remedy to human suffering. Remember, Bhagavan first talks about the nature of God. It has two portions. One is para prakriti, the consciousness. The other is apara prakriti, or the material universe, which comes through the Maya. Maya is a latent energy, and then during creation, everything comes as a visible universe. And then during pralayam, everything resolves into Maya. So, and this knowledge, he calls it jnanam and vijnanam. And then he talks about Ishvara Swarupam, the nature of God, and then samsara karanam and samsara pariharaha, cause and remedy to human suffering. Now, the last portion, the two types of bhakti. So you can see the change here. In the first 6 chapters, first chatkam, it was all about jiva, individual atma. Now it's all about Ishvara, Parama Atma, the great Atma, the universal consciousness, which is the Brahman. I've told this many times, right? Space is one. Whether it is inside the home, it's just space. I'm not talking about air, not air molecules, space. There's one continuous space extending all the way into the universe. In the context of the home, it's called inner space. In the context of the outer world, it's called outer space. But space is one. Like that, in the context of the body, the consciousness is called Atma. In the context of the universe, it is called Brahman. It's one and the same. So now two types of bhakti. Sakama bhakti, the lower form. Sa means with. Kama means desire. Nishkama means without desire. Higher form of bhakti. So in one form, you have a desire. That's why you go to God. So because you worship and you calm down and you surrender, the entire act of surrendering, it helps you get what you want. Then the nishkama means I don't need anything, but I want to understand and I want to get the liberation. That is the nishkama. You're not wanting the small worldly desires. So bhakti, we saw the different types. One, quality of practice, manda, madhyama, uttama. Low level, intermediate, and high levels. And then the 4 types of bhaktas, artho, artharthi, jignasu, and jnani. Now it's based on desire, as sakama, with a desire to obtain something, and nishkama, is no desire to obtain anything. And there are 2 other ways in. So I mean, when you classify people, you can classify them as tall, short, men, women, age less than 50, more than 50, something like that, right? So like that, bhakti also different ways you can classify. One is here, one of the misconceptions about bhakti is that, oh, bhakti is just no knowledge. It's just pure love, just crying, crying, crying. So that is not true. Bhagavan himself has said the jnani bhakta is the greatest bhakta. So I will I'll play a small clip from Swamiji. If you're not able to hear it, please let me know. Okay.
A God other than me and the world is called Tatastha Ishvaraha, who is a person located somewhere, and you can call him and he will come down on a rescue mission.
So it ended very early. So what Swamiji is trying to say here is that there is this misconception about prema bhakti and jnana bhakti. So maybe let me. So in the prema bhakti,
Now we cannot hear.
oh, you cannot hear?
No.
You can't hear. Okay, let me again see. Can you hear? No? Okay. Some problem. Let me give me a second. Let me fix the problem. Previously you heard, right? So Okay. So, um, what Swamiji is here trying to say is that the irrational mind cannot accept some kind of a Bhagavan, like an entity sitting there, which will give you, come on a rescue mission, do whatever you want, and go away. So that does not appeal to a rational mind. So throughout the ages, um, the problem with religions was that, Swamiji, this is what he's trying to say. Problem with religions is that they say there is one creator, God, you, the inferior thing. If the God has some rules, if you don't obey, you will be punished. And who's giving the punishment? Other people are giving the punishment. So this is how a lot of religions have evolved. And even within Sanatana Dharma, there's some misconceptions about it. But in pure Vedanta, that difference is not there. So yeah, a mind cannot accept this thing. Why is that person doing the rescue? What is, so I please somebody, so I curry favors to somebody, and that somebody comes and rescues me, and somebody gives me wealth. This does not apply. This is not satisfying to your rational mind. There is something which is sitting in some Vaikuntha or whatever, in some heaven, and that thing comes, and if I pray to that thing, and that thing will give something. So this is how some religions are structured. But in Vedanta, it is not so. It is that one consciousness that's operating in the universe and in you. There is no difference between God and you. It is the same consciousness. And this, as I've already mentioned before, there are a lot of these atheists. Their only aim is to like crash religions. They will ruthlessly trash Christianity, Islam, and even portions of Hinduism. But when it comes to Vedanta, they won't raise a question, because it appeals to their view of how creation evolved and everything from one consciousness. There is no God, it's just consciousness. Okay, so now we will enter the topic of, sorry about the video, I don't know why it didn't play. We'll enter the topic of Sakama Bhakti. Okay. So in the Kathopanishad, same thing. Kathopanishad is a very famous Upanishad. In Kathopanishad, this is little child, 7-year-old child, and the child sees its father giving away. Father performs a big yajna. We saw what a yajna is, right? Yajna is big worship where you, like, for example, you can donate things to others. The whole idea is you get your desires, others are also benefited, and you worship. This is yajna. And in that yajna, the father, he's a Brahmin, he gives away all his cows. Those days cows were a prized possession because they gave milk and all that. But all these old cows, they're close to death. These lean cows, they can't produce any milk anymore. He's just giving them away. Then the child, 7-year-old child, goes to the dad and says, aren't you supposed to be giving your most prized possessions? You're giving these cows, which are pretty useless. They're not going to give anything. You're giving them to all these other poor people. That's not fair. Your most prized possession is me. To whom are you going to give me? This little child says, you should be giving me to somebody, because the Brahmin doesn't have money. Brahmins didn't have too much money. But this father, he wanted to go to heavens. So he did this big yajna. And at the end of the yajna, this little child asks, you should be giving me to somebody. Again and again, the child asks. At the third time, the father loses the patience. Father says, I will go to hell, something like that. He says, I will give you to death. And the child takes it very seriously, and he goes looking for the Lord of Death. And somehow he's able to go to the heavens, and he's waiting at the doorstep of the Lord of Death. For 3 days and 3 nights, the child waits there. The child's called Nachiketa. And at the end of the 3 days and 3 nights, Yamadharma Raja, the Lord of Death and Dharma, righteousness, he comes And he looks at the child and says, "Oh, a Brahmin child, you have been waiting for 3 days and 3 nights. What sin have I incurred by not treating you respectfully and, um, serving you food? I've offended you. So I'm going to give you 3 boons. Ask for 3 boons." And then the child, the whole Kathopanishad is about this. The child wants to know what happens after death. So this is the whole Upanishad is this, and this is one of Krishna's favorite Upanishads. All the chariot example, all these come from this Upanishad. So here, Yama tells Nachiketa, the child, death said, "Anyat shreya, anyat utayeva preyaha." So one is good while the other is pleasant. So the Sakama Bhakti it's because it gives you pleasant desires. Ube nanarte purusham sinitaha. These two serving different ends bind men differently. Tayo shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati. Of this, happiness comes to them who of these chooses the good. Hiyate hiyartat iha u preyaha vrinite.
Let's take a cough top.
Excuse me, somebody is not muted. Those who choose the pleasant forfeit the true end. Okay, so you can ask for Sakama Bhakti, desires, or Nishkama Bhakti, liberation. So you keep asking for Sakama Bhakti. I'll tell you this. Swamiji says this sad thing is when you keep asking for money, or whatever you want, money or a partner, whatever, you will get it, whether it is in this lifetime or next lifetime. But it causes a never-ending cycle. Once you get things, you are not happy with them. So in all the worldly pleasures, what does it have? Dukkha mishrutatvam. Worldly pleasures have, Swamiji will say that, three causes. Dukkha mishrutatvam, which means they're always mixed with pain. They're not pure. And they can bind, bandhakatvam. They can bind. And then atriptikaratvam. You can never satisfy you. There's always more, and it's pain, because when you remove it a little bit, there's pain of longing. So the worldly desires never can fulfill. But moksha, the desire for moksha, that is always fulfilling. That's there. There's never emptiness there. Continuing. कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया. So look at the word here. Kamaistai. So what Bhagavan is saying is, those whose wisdom has been carried away by various desires. Look at how the words, how it's used. Gita means song. It's a poetry, right? Thai means this and that, which means various. Kamai Thai, various desires, various kamas. Kritagnyanaha, the one who's the wisdom here. Kriti means literally a heart, but here it means wisdom. Actually here, Kriti comes from Harati, Jnanaha. Jnanaha here means wisdom. Kriti Jnanaha means Harati Jnanaha, those whose wisdom has been carried away. So yata in the Vayur Navam Ivambasi. So we saw how like a boat which can be carried away by the wind, these desires can carry the wisdom of even a wise person, and who are led by their own nature to perform various rituals. They worship other gods. Tam tam, thai, tam tam, that and that, niyamam astaya, prakritya niyata swaya. So look at the words. So it's beautiful poetry here, poetry at its in its beauty. Taitai kama means this and that desire. Okay. And then Kritajnana, carried away, as we said. Prapadyante anya devata, which means they worship other gods. And what is this? Tam tam, this and that, various disciplines. Tam tam niyamam. Niyama means, we saw in the Ashtanga Yoga, yama, niyama. Niyama means internal disciplines. Here it just means various disciplines, which means rituals. So, astaya, tam tam niyamam astaya, various disciplines following. Astaya means following. And what kind of disciplines are they? Prakritya niyata swaya. Each one has their own desires, own ways of doing worship, performing rituals. Prakriti, from their own nature. Niyata swaya, which means led by the Prakriti. Swaya Prakriti means one's own nature. Niyata means led. Okay, so that is the as far as this goes. Now, Sakama Bhakti, devotion to God for attaining finite goals of life, material goals, right? So there are 4 Purusharthas, 4 goals in life. They are called Purusha Artha. Artha means meaning or goal. So Purushartha means goals of a human being. One is Artha, which is acquiring wealth. Artha literally means security, but acquiring wealth and hence security. Kama, pleasure, love. Dharma, righteousness, moral values, and moksha, liberation, spiritual values, self-actualization. The lower goals are artha, kama, and even some of dharma, because observance of dharma can be higher or lower goal depending on the intent. If you want to observe dharma, like to give charity, all that, so that you have a good standing in the society, so people look up to you, that is a lower goal. But if you want to do dharma because it purifies you, righteousness, moral values, then it is higher goal. And then there is moksha. And nishkama bhakti. So Bhagavan says both are okay. Sakama and nishkama are okay. But nishkama bhakti is superior to sakama bhakti. Both bhaktas are okay. The symbolism here is Krishna refers to the infinite Brahman. Worship of the infinite Brahman is for the infinite goal of liberation. Worship of the other gods refer to worship of the deities for a finite purpose. This can be worship of Shani, Saturn, to prevent ill luck, worship of Lakshmi to gain wealth. So this Navagraha, the deities, is very popular. Whether people go to the main Sannidhi or not, they go to Navagraha to remove all the obstacles so that they can get what they want. And then there's the Kubera, the lord of wealth. So you see Kubera sitting on wealth, like pockets and pockets of gold. This is Kubera. He is a yaksha, Kubera. So in the 16th or in the 17th chapter, he says the Shraddha, faith, can be deduced. Faith of a person can be deduced by who this person worship. The Satvika people, they worship the Sattvic deities, Shiva, Vishnu. The Rajasic people, because they want money and greed, they worship Yaksha Rakshasam, all these Yakshas. And the Tamasic people worship Preta, Bhuta Guna, all these ghosts, black magic, all these things. So Swamiji tells a joke here. So Swamiji was taking a group of people on a pilgrimage to Badrinath in the Himalayas. And then somebody came and gave him a coin. I don't even think it was gold coin, some coin. And this person said, there's a Kubera deity in Badrinath. Please keep the coin there. So the Swamiji thought, okay, maybe this person wants to put it in the hundi, the donation box. Okay, I'll go put it there. No, Swamiji, don't put it inside the hundi. Just keep it on the top and bring it back to me. So Swamiji, why do you want to keep it on the top and bring it back? Because then it'll multiply. My wealth will multiply. This is what the person said. So even Badrinath was not important, the main deity of Badrinath, but Kubera was important. So that shows how people are attached to wealth. And this is Sakama Bhakti. Okay, not Nishkama Bhakti. Then, continuing, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chitum ichchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham dhameva vidadhamyaham. Whoever be the devotee, and whichever form, that is devata, they worship with faith, that very faith I make unshakable for them. He's saying, if you have faith, I will reinforce that faith. Bhagavan says, look at the patterns here, poetry. Yo yo, yam yam. Yo yo means who and who, whoever. Yam yam means which and which, or whichever. Tanu means form. In whatever be the devotee and whatever form or devata they worship, shraddhaya architum ichchati, with faith they worship. Tasya shraddhams, look at this. That faith, am eva vidadamyaham. Vidadami means I will make that faith achalam, unshakable. I will make them like their faith unshakable. So um, in the Veda Purva, there's a vast literature, presents countless devatas to fulfill countless desires. And Bhagavan says there's only one condition. Sakama Bhakti is a valid Bhakti. He's clearly saying it. Only one condition for fulfillment of those desires, which is faith, Shraddha. Whichever deity one worships, it is actually Brahman that fulfills the desires. So when Krishna says, Tam eva vidadamyaham, I shall make that faith unshakable, who is he referring to? Because in different portions of the Bhagavad Gita, it's different. Krishna usually in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says aham, it refers to the Nirguna Brahman in the Bhagavad Gita, except in one place where Krishna says, I am telling this to you as a friend. Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam chetaduttamam. In the fourth chapter, third shloka, Bhagavan says, I am teaching you all the supreme knowledge because you are my devotee and my friend. So here, me refers to Krishna, the Ekarupa Ishvaraha. But in the rest of the places, when he says, I will make that faith unshakable, he's referring to Brahman, that Nirguna Brahman, that in cosmic consciousness. Continuing, Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktaha Tasya Radhanam Ihate Labate Chatata Kaman Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan. That person, steadfast with that faith, engages in worship of that form of Ishvara, and from that he or she gains those desires which are indeed ordained or granted by me alone. Me is that Brahman. All the other deities, forms of worship, they can do that, but the grantor is me alone. So let's look at this shloka. Sa means that person. Kaya Shraddhaya, with that faith, Yuktaha, steadfast, and with that person steadfast with that faith, then Tasya Aradhanam Ihate, Tasya, of that form of Ishvara, Aradhanam means worship. Aradhana is basically worship. So that engages in worship of that form of Ishvara, and labate cha tata kaman, cha tata labate tan kaman. So from that they obtain those desires, and he vihitan, indeed I am the one granting those desires. Mayaiva, from me alone those desires are granted. Vihitan, granting, indeed granted. Those desires are indeed granted by me alone. So Bhagavan is saying reinforcement of bhakti by fulfillment of desires. Tasya achalam shraddham. I will make those faith unshakable. Bhakti, fulfillment of desires. And what is the fulfillment of desires? Causes reinforcement. So this is how it comes. Kaman maheva vihitan hitan. And then the superior, so the superior form enjoys the yajnas and grants desires. So it's not all these devatas that enjoy, but it is the superior form. In the 5th chapter, he says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Sarvaloka maheshwaram, the Lord of all the worlds, the cosmos, that is the Brahman, Ishvara. Bhoktaram, that is the enjoyer of what? Yajna and tapas. All the austerities and the yajnas, the worship that one does, the enjoyer is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the Ishvara, or the consciousness. It is not these small deities, is what he is trying to tell here. And then Bhagavan gives a word of caution. Antavattu palam tesham tadpapatyalpamedasam devan te payajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. But finite are the fruits for those of limited discrimination. Those who worship the other deities for fulfillment of desires, they reach those deities. But those who worship me, the higher form for moksha, they reach me indeed, which means they will get liberated. What? It's a very important point. Bhagavan is trying to say, if you keep asking for desires, you will eventually get it, whether it's in this lifetime or next lifetime. If you're at the end of your life, if you're thinking that, oh, I wished I had been wealthy, you will get it next lifetime or subsequent lifetime. But you won't get liberation, moksha. It'll still put you in this trap of samsara, birth, death, but it will not give moksha. That's what Bhagavan is trying to say. Finite are the fruits for those of limited discrimination. To antavat means it has a finite, anti, it's an end. So palam tesham, the fruits are are finite for those. Who are those? Alpa medasam. Alpa means limited. Meda here refers to discrimination. Those of limited discrimination. Devan, Deva yajo yanti. Deva yajaha means those who worship. Yaj means worship. Deva yajaha means those who worship the other deities. Devan yanti. Devan, Deva yajo yanti. They reach those deities. Which means it's essentially their desires will be fulfilled. Mat bhakta yanti mamapi. My devotees reach me, which means they attain liberation. Clear? So message of shlokas 20 to 23. Sakama bhakti involves worshipping various deities for gaining material benefits. Nishkama bhakti involves worshipping for liberation. Nishkama bhakti is better than Sakama bhakti. And this is what I was saying. The 3 defects of material gain, it's not bad, but you have to understand there are 3 defects. It is even attaining Swargaloka, attaining the heavens, has 3 doshas. Dosha means defects. One is dukkha mishritatvam, nature of being mixed with pain. Even the greatest pleasure, if you finish the ice cream, there's longing, oh, it has ended. And then you will be thinking about the ice cream, it's pain. Atriptikaratvam, nature of causing lack of fulfillment. It can never completely solve your longing. Bandhakatvam, it causes bondage or addiction. So in the 5th chapter, it says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nate shuramate buddha. All these worldly pleasures, they have a beginning and end. Adi antavanta kaunteya nat ehi samsparshaya bhoga dukkayonaya evate. They will cause suffering. The wise don't rejoice in these. And in the Yoga Sutras, it says, Parinama tapa samskara dukkai dukkha. So, all these Parinama tapa samskara dukkai gunavritti virodascha dukkameva sarvam vivekinaha. All these pleasures, the wise know that they will cause sorrow alone. And even the gaining of Swarga, the heavens, is limited. In the 9th chapter, we'll see. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye martyalokam vishanti evam trayi dharmam anuprapanna gata gatam kama kama labante. After enjoying the pleasures of the grand heavens, when their punya merit runs out, they come back where? To the world of the mortals, the world of deaths. Thus, following the three Vedas, designing objects of desires, they come and go in that fashion, like that airport revolving door. They just go in, come out, like that. And it's like the game of snakes and ladders. They climb with the ladder fast, but if you're not prepared, you will fall down to even lower depths. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manchante mama bhuttayaha param bhavamajanantaha mamapyam mama mamapyam anuttamam. So those who lack the discrimination, not knowing my supreme nature, which is changeless and unsurpassed, know me who is the formless, the unmanifest, as one endowed with a manifest form. So here Bhagavan says, the people who lack discriminations, they don't know the avyaktam means unmanifested. Vyaktim apannam, coming to a manifested form. So they think that I am like a limited being with a form, but they don't know that actual me has no form. I am the Nirguna Brahman. And Param Bhavam Ajanantaha, my supreme nature. Param Bhavam is nature. They don't know my supreme nature. Mamadyam Yayam Anuttamam. So Param Bhavam Ajanantaha, they don't know my supreme form. Mamapyayam Anuttamam. So the avyayam, the unmanifested, the unchanging form, they don't know. So how do people miss that higher form is going to be told in the next sloka. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudoyam nabijanati loko mamajam avyayam. It is because of the wheel of Yoga Maya. Covered by the wheel of Yoga Maya, I am not evidently visible to all. This deluded world does not know me, who is birthless and deathless. Prakasha means light. Here, Prakasha means revealed, manifested, visible. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. I am not revealed to all. Yoga Maya Samavritaha, because I am wrapped in this veil of Yoga Maya, this delusion. So, Mudoyam na abhijanati, this deluded world, Muda Loka, this deluded world does not know me. Ajam avyayam, I am birthless. Aja means without birth. Avyayam, who is deathless. So one would then ask, where is that Paraprakriti? Where is the supreme consciousness that you told? Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabhako yayedham daryate jagat. You keep looking for this Brahman. Where is that Brahman? That Brahman is us, the seer. I, the seer, is that Brahman. So no need to search. This Maya deludes, but once you know that you, this witness, Sakshi Tattvam, is nothing but a Brahman, then there's no need to search. And then Bhagavan says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charchuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Oh Arjuna, I know all the beings of the past, present, and the future, but no one knows me. Vedaham bhutani, I know beings, samatitani of the past, vartamanani of the present, and bhavishyani of the future. Tu mam vedana kaschana, but no one knows me. I know all the beings, but nobody knows me. Okay. And what is all this due to? It is due to ichadvesha samutena dvandvamohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. By the delusion of the pairs of opposites arising from craving and aversion, all beings are subject to delusion at the time of birth. O scorcher of foes. Parantapa refers to Arjuna. Scorch is tapa. Tap means heat. He just burns. Paramtapa, the great burner. Who does he burn? His foes. So, by the delusion of the pairs of opposites, Bandva Mohena, by the delusion of the pairs of opposites, and where is it coming from? Icha dvesha samuttena. It is coming from likes and dislike. Sarge, at birth, yanti, subject to. Oh, all the beings are subject to this right at birth. Okay. So with that, let's stop and we will do the chanting.